So we're going to create the axle component, or the threaded component that goes through the shoe, the one that touches the handle. I really wish I'd named all the component pieces on the drawing now, but you'll see the one I'm talking about. Now, to do this, I can either use any of the sort of vertical planes. I can either use the XY plane, which is looking for the front, or the YZ plane, which is looking on the end elevations. Because the component's cylindrical, it doesn't matter so much. I'll use the XY plane just here and create a new sketch. Now, this component overall is 88mm tall, so I'm going to take a straight line all the way through here and say it is 88mm tall. Now, I like things to be working from the center origin out. It makes life easier far later on for different projects, so I'll get used to it. So I'm just going to take from the center origin to one end of the line, and I can either type in 44mm here to budge line up center, or I'm just going to select that first dimension, 88, which is called D0, and divide it by 2. That will keep this center line always in the middle, which can make things really useful later on. So just say, for instance, I change the size of this and made it 100, it will automatically adjust that dimension to the 50mm, keeping it nice and centered. In this case, I need it to be 88, so there we go. So this is going to be a revolved component, so I'm going to be sort of drawing half the profile and revolving it down this center axis. Now, to do that, I'm going to go back to the straight line, and I'm going to start from the top, sort of the wide section at the top, and the outside diameter of this is 16mm. So I need to convert all my sort of sizes here to radiuses. So 16mm diameter would make an 8mm radius. The height of it is 20mm. And then it steps down into a 6mm diameter component, so it'll be a radius of 3. So obviously 8 subtract 3 is 5mm just there, so if I come in 5mm, and then the height of that component is 60mm. Now the technical drawing shows a break line to save space on the sheet just there, but I can type in 60. And then it steps back out to a component that is 10mm in diameter. So we're going from, that'll be a 5mm radius, so we're stepping back out 2mm just here. And then the height of that component piece will obviously just be 8mm, and then back in. So we've got a couple of wee chamfers to do. One, a wee chamfer at the bottom, a little chamfer just here, and a little chamfer just here. And all the chamfers are 2mm. So take the chamfer tool and chamfer that corner, and that corner. Okay, finish that sketch, and I'll now revolve the profile around that center axis and say OK. So a couple of wee things more to do. We've got to put a hole up here, and we've got to put a cosmetic thread on just here. I'm just going to shove the cosmetic thread on, say the word thread, and we'll make that component threaded just there. Now we do that, remember, with a cosmetic thread, because putting a real thread using the helix tool would slow the computer down dramatically. You'd be creating all these extra vertices and slows things down, and not much real benefit. But we want to say this is a thread, so later on, when it comes to technical drawing, we'll be able to put the technical information about that thread just there. And we can adjust the settings and the types of thread and so on, but we're not bothered about that too much. Right, now we want to create a hole, which is going through this section here, which will be for the handle. So I'm going to create a new sketch on that plane. And remember, if I want to draw anything just here, just say I was drawing something, I can't see it because it's inside the 3D model. But if I hit F7 or function 7 on my keyboard, you're given your sectional view so you can see what you're drawing. So I'm happy with that. F7, and I can see what I'm doing. So I've done a circle just here, and the diameter of this circle is 5mm, and it is 10mm from the top object to the center of this circle. There we go. And finish that sketch, and I'm going to extrude that now, and I'm going to make it in both directions, and I'm going to say go through the whole thing, subtracting material. You could always just type in a number here and make it symmetric. But if you ever change the diameter that's just here, you know, your top piece, you might not have made this long enough. It's better to actually say through all, so if you ever change the size of one piece, this feature will keep working. So I'll say OK just there, and that is the threaded axle stub component thing.